Good morning, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing for you a really popular, very hyped up perfume that I got suckered into purchasing myself because I had seen all the hype and the beautiful bottle and everything else about it. And I try not to blind buy perfumes a lot anymore. I've had a lot of blind buy fails in the past, and it's just a risky thing to do. Whenever possible, it's always best if you can get a sample, because just because something is super hyped does not mean it's going to work out for you. Today's perfume is Bianco Latte by Giardino di Toscana. So I'm sure that many of you have heard about this perfume. I myself am a vanilla lover. I absolutely love vanilla. I love caramel. And this just looked like it would be right up my alley. So if you guys are interested in hearing my thoughts on this fragrance, then stay tuned. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Alithia. On this channel, I do a lot of organization, decluttering. We focus a little bit on fashion, skincare, makeup, perfume reviews, pretty much anything that I want to share with you guys that brings happiness to me, I like to bring to you guys. And I do have quite a large emphasis on perfume on this channel. If that's something that you think you might be interested in, please feel free to subscribe. You can also feel free to head over and follow me on Instagram. That is the best way to keep in touch with me. It's the best way to contact me. So with that out of the way, you guys, let's get started in my perfume review today. So this is the absolutely beautiful bottle. So this is Bianco Latte. This is a 100 ml bottle from Giardini di Toscana, and I hope that I'm saying that properly. Really beautiful, pretty, milky white bottle. I absolutely love the cap. I love the bottle design. On the top there, it does say the name of the house, Giardini di Toscana. Beautiful, kind of a wooden cap. Very pretty. This entire bottle looks stunning. It looks milky white. It looks pretty. It looks beige. It looks vanilla vibes. It looks the whole like beige vanilla aesthetic, which I'm not gonna lie, definitely was partly what drew me to this bottle. A lot of times when I hear people talking at perfumes or I hear reviews about perfumes, sometimes the notes will sound good or people will say it smells really nice, but a lot of times it is a stunning bottle like this that will finally push me over the edge and talk me into wanting to try it. So this gets a 10 out of 10 for presentation for me. The bottle, it looks and feels luxurious and beautiful and expensive. All right, so the notes that we have in Bianco Latte are caramel, coumarin, honey, vanilla, and white musk. So for those of you who don't know what coumarin is actually part of the tonka bean, and it lends itself to having kind of this almondy, almost like herbaceous, powdery quality, very similar to that of a tonka bean. So I want to preface this video and my thoughts on this perfume by telling you guys that I'm not a huge fan of tonka bean. A couple of notable perfumes that are heavy in tonka bean that I cannot do are Tonka Imperial from Guerlain. Although it's a fantastic fragrance, I find the tonka bean very suffocating. Same thing with Velvet Tonka from BDK. That was another perfume that, although it is a complete and utter masterpiece and actually smells a little bit like this one, I cannot do it because I find the tonka to be very heavy. So with this fragrance, I was really hoping that the vanilla and the caramel would shine through heavier than the coumarin. I was hoping the coumarin would kind of be sitting in the background somewhere, because my biggest fear with this perfume was that it was going to be either too lactonic or too powdery or too much in that heavy powdery tonka bean direction. That was my fear. You guys, I blind purchased Blanche Bette about a year ago, and that was a complete and utter fail. So if you guys did not like Blanche Bette, if you have similar taste to me, then you might find more value in today's video. And the problem with Blanche Bette was that that one definitely did go too much in a lactonic direction and too much in a heavy tonka bean direction. And then there was that added tuberose on top of it. And altogether, it was just really a big mess for my nose. It made me feel sick and nauseated, and I could not do Blanche Bette. So I was really hoping and praying that this would be different, that this would not do the same thing, that it would not go in the same direction. And I really didn't want to blind buy perfumes at all going forward, but this one really suckered me in. There's been so much hype about it, so many good reviews. The bottle was so stunning. The notes looked like they could potentially be right up my alley. So this one definitely suckered me in. So this perfume, let's see here, take the cap off. This perfume, you guys, is an instant, really like it at first sniff. I wouldn't say it's an instant head over heels, like I fell out of my chair and it was the greatest thing ever and it blew my mind and I had to like write home about it. It wasn't that kind of a thing. It was an instant, I really like it. Smelling it from the atomizer, I get a lot of the caramel, a lot of the vanilla, just a little bit of that coumarin, a little bit of a musky quality, It definitely does have a powderiness to it from the atomizer. I really, really like it. Also, the first spray is quite intoxicating. That first spray is sweet, it's caramelly, it's vanilla-y. Let's go ahead and give this a spray on paper. All right, let's go ahead and give this a spray. All right. Yeah, so that first spray is addictively delicious. Very, very nice. I understand why this perfume got hyped up the way it did. I can understand why it went viral. I think that whenever you find a perfume that is pretty mass pleasing, usually it's a vanilla perfume, has caramel, is gourmand, is delicious, is tasty, it's going to be a perfume that kind of goes viral. We've seen it before with Fire at Will, we've seen it with Kayali Vanilla 28, we've seen it with a lot of other vanilla perfumes. Escapade Gourmand also went viral, which by the way, I've smelled that one, but it's been a while since I've smelled it and I really want to revisit it because I think I might like it better than this one. But I think that whenever you find this kind of perfume profile that's kind of this sweet, vanilla, caramel, cookie, pastry, not that this smells like a pastry, but that type of thing, people just go bonkers for it because they're mass pleasing and because who doesn't want to smell like a delicious vanilla cookie? So whenever you have a perfume like this, it's bound to go viral, but there are little differences that I can tell you guys that I pick up. And I'll tell you how they differ from some of my other favorite vanillas, and I'll tell you whether or not this matches up or compares, or whether I like it as much. Okay, so what do I get from Bianco Latte? So first of all, Bianco Latte means white milk. This does not smell overly milky to me. It does have a little bit of a milky lactonic quality, but it doesn't go so far in the milky direction that it makes me feel nauseated, whereas I've definitely smelled other milky perfumes that were quite lactonic that I really couldn't do because they just made me feel sick. They were too nauseatingly milky for me. I do get a lot of vanilla. I do get a lot of caramel. The honey is like very subtle, just very gentle, very much there in the background. I wouldn't have picked out honey in this perfume if I didn't know it was in there. I can't pick it out. I can pick out vanilla. I can pick out caramel. I do smell the musk. But what I really do pick up on here, you guys, is that coumarin. The coumarin for me really is quite strong. I would say that this perfume is more powdery and more in the tonka bean direction than it is in the lactonic milky direction. Now, like I say, I was kind of hoping that the coumarin would sit somewhere in the background or that it would just be really nicely blended and it wouldn't come too far to the forefront because depending on the perfume, I can have a really hard time with coumarin. I have a really hard time with straight up tonka bean. So that it does give this a little bit of a powderiness. Another note that I think is missing from that pyramid, and I don't think that they're hiding it, but for me personally, if you would have told me that this had that note in it, I would have believed you, is a little touch of coconut. I almost pick up on a little touch of coconut. Not a sweet coconut, not coconut water or coconut milk or anything like that, but more of a powdery coconut shaving. So if you were to get shredded coconut at the grocery store for a recipe, this kind of has a bit of that shredded coconut vibe for me, which if you guys watch my channel, you know that I don't like coconut. I definitely do pick up a little bit on this tiny little bit of a shredded coconut vibe, and then I get sort of this tonka bean that's coming through, even though there's no specific note of tonka bean. So for me, that is the only thing about this perfume that kind of makes it harder for me to completely 100% head over heels fall in love with, is that powdery, slightly herbaceous coumarin note. It's quite powdery. You really have to like a powdery fragrance to like this, and you have to like coumarin or tonka bean. Now that being said, it does have a very sweet vanilla caramel quality. The sillage on this, you guys, is fantastic. A little bit goes a really long way. I actually tested it out the other night for the first time on my skin, and as I was walking around throughout the entire night, I kept on picking up little whiffs. I could tell that I was leaving a trail. I wasn't around a lot of people, so there was no opportunity for compliments, so I can't comment on the compliment potential of this perfume. I know a lot of people say it's one of their top compliment getters, and that, you know, their friends and family smelled this on them and immediately had to rush out and get a bottle. And I can totally understand. I can see why this would be a compliment monster, 100%, because it is that sweet, powdery, caramel, vanilla, slightly cookie, gourmand fragrance, and it smells wonderful. After it dries down on the skin, It's not quite as powdery anymore. What I'm left with in the deep, deep dry down is this beautiful, milky smelling without being too lactonic, but this beautiful, milky vanilla caramel. It's quite lovely. It is really pretty. However, I almost feel like I'm looking for a bit of confirmation bias. Like, do you guys ever do that where you try a perfume and you constantly are looking all day for why you think you should love it? I almost feel like I'm doing that a little bit with this perfume. There's quite a stark difference between something like this that I'm smelling it and I'm like, oh, okay, I understand why it went viral. It's really, really nice. I can totally see the hype. Objectively, I can say I think it's an amazing fragrance versus something like Altair from Parfum de Marly, where I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I cannot get enough of this. Like I have to keep on smelling it. I want to keep on smelling it. I don't have to look for any kind of bias. I don't have to look for any confirmation from anybody. It just drew me in to the point that I had to get a bottle because it was so amazing. So a little bit different. Like this, I can tell that it's wonderful, but it doesn't have me in a chokehold where I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, if I would have tried this in store first, oh my gosh, I have to go back and get a bottle. It doesn't have me in that kind of a chokehold. And I think this is totally personal preference because for me, I'm picking up a little too much of that powdery, coumarin, tonka bean, cloudy, sort of milky substance in a sense, the way I was getting from Blanche Bette. It really is honestly, this could be Blanche Bette's daughter or younger sister. It's not as juicy and pungent and heavy and deep as Blanche Bette. It's not as substantial and thick as Blanche Bette, and it's not nearly as complex. Blanche Bette had a lot more going on. Blanche Bette also had some floral components, but this could be Blanche Bette's daughter or younger sister for sure. And it's kind of a family that I tend to stay away from, to be honest. I have not completely finished forming my thoughts on this fragrance. I will say it is an instant like. I will say I can see why it went viral, but I can think of about 5 or 6 other vanilla perfumes that are in this fragrance family. Simple vanillas, gourmand fragrances that I like much better than this one. And I will list some of them for you and I will put them on the screen along with their notes and I'll tell you why I like them better. So, Escapade Gourmand. I've only smelled it once. It was quite a long time ago, and I didn't have a chance to actually wear it. I only smelled it at a Lucky Scent boutique, and at the time I just wasn't buying perfumes, although now I'm kicking myself because now I kind of want a bottle and it's sold out everywhere. Escapade Gourmand, I like it better than this one because it goes more in that sugary direction and it's not as powdery. It is more of a straight up sweet vanilla caramel sugar, which is what I like. Mazzolari Vanilla. Better than this one, in my opinion. I like it better. Why? Because Mazzolari Vanilla has 3 notes. It has caramel, vanilla, and orchid. And what I like about vanilla is it's very strong. A little goes a long way. It has that touch of orchid, which makes it a little sweet and flirty and feminine. It adds more of a slightly perfume quality to it. Rather than being just a straight up gourmand. Mazzolari Vanilla for me is about 90% gourmand, 10% floral. And it just adds that little extra feminine touch that makes it like, wow, you're a sexy girl, you're wearing a nice perfume, but you also smell good enough to eat. It's not straight up gourmand. It adds that sexy floral feminine touch. Exidolo Love and Crime. I like that one better than this one. Again, the performance is actually better on Love and Crime. But Love and Crime is a little bit more complex. It has a slight spice to it. I believe that there's star anise in there. It also goes a little bit in a chocolatey, orangey, vanilla caramel direction. It's absolutely addicting. It lasts forever. Utterly intoxicating. And again, it doesn't have a powdery coumarin tonka bean quality the way this one does. I shouldn't keep saying just powdery. It also adds a little bit of an almondy quality. So there's this powdery almondy quality in Bianco Latte. And I don't like that. Like you guys know if you watch my channel, I have a hard time with almond. I have a hard time with tonka bean. And for me, there's just a little too much of that in Bianco Latte. What else? Altair from Parfum de Marly. Altair is a caramel gourmand fragrance, but again, it's a little bit more complex. There's some woody nuances. There's some spices in there. It can go either direction, unisex, men or women could wear it, whereas this one I think is utterly very, very feminine. Altair has this ridiculously addictive, like sweet gourmandy praline vanilla thing to it that just is like incredible. It's leaps and bounds better than Bianco Latte in my opinion. What else is there? yeah, Fire at Will, I have to say I do like better than this one because it doesn't have the powderiness, although this one is more interesting than Fire at Will. Fire at Will is kind of basic. This one's a little more interesting, but I still don't love the powderiness that's in here. So that's just, I think, 4 or 5 vanilla perfumes that I think are better than this one that I would rather spend my money on. Cali Vanilla 28, another vanilla perfume that I like better than this one. Spiritueuse Double Vanille. Annick Goutal, Nuit et Confidence. Christian Louboutin, Louis Rouge. Maison Francis Kirk de Jean, Gentle Fluidity Gold. Diptyque Eau de Well, the Eau de Parfum. So I think I've listed now about 9 or 10 perfumes that I like better than Bianco Latte. If what you're looking for is a basic, sweet, but not too sweet. This isn't sickly sweet. It goes more powdery lactonic than it does in the sweet direction. It's kind of a nice balance of the two. But if you're looking for a sweet, vanilla, caramel, cookie, gourmandy, it really depends on your taste preference. If you like powderiness, if you like almond, if you like tonka bean, if you smelled Blanche Bette and you loved it, if you smelled Tonka Imperial and you loved it, if you, and for those people who are new to the niche world, you might not have figured out quite yet exactly what like some of those notes smell like. And so it can be hard for people. You might not be able to figure out why do I like this one versus why do I not like it. But if you know that you like tonka bean, if you like this powdery, almost like, how do I describe it? Yeah, picture like clouds. It's like a cloudy, almondy powder. That's the best way I can describe that whole tonka bean coumarin thing. It's like a light white cloud of almond powder, and yeah, I don't know how else to put it. It's kind of like that. If you like that, and you like vanilla, and you like caramel, you will probably go bonkers for this perfume. And as I'm smelling it at the paper here, you guys, it does smell really nice. It's just that I can't say it's like a 10 out of 10 for me. I can't say it's a 10 out of 10, which I'm kind of sad about because I love the bottle. It's so hyped up, and I'm sure it will be a compliment monster. Like, I'm sure if I wear this, I will get compliments galore. A couple other fragrances that I like the way it smells better. Oh, I forgot, Indult Tihoda. So Indult Tihoda smells similar to this one, but Indult Tihoda is all about that musky vanilla. It kind of goes in a Victoria's Secret Bare Vanilla. That's what Indult Tihoda smells like. Indult Tihoda smells like bare vanilla, Vanilla Bean Noel from Bath & Body Works, but amp it up times 100 and give it fantastic performance and make it super rich. That's what Indult Tihoda is. It doesn't have the same powderiness that's in here. It doesn't have a lactonic quality that's in here. So for me, again, Indult Tihoda is better. Bath & Body Works Vanilla Bean Noel is better because it doesn't have that powdery tonka bean quality. This is really nice though. It is really nice. It is. I don't know what else to say other than that. So longevity on this, you guys, fantastic. I can smell this on my skin for, I want to say at least, and I've only worn it a couple of days now, but I want to say at least 7 to 8 hours I can smell this on my skin. Same with on clothing. It's not a beast, but it has great performance. Sillage and scent bubble, that's where kind of the magic is with this one. You definitely can smell it forming a nice little bubble around you. As you're walking around, you can tell that you're leaving a little bit of a trail. It's great, but I kind of was suckered into it, and I really wish that, you know, I was tempted to buy Mazzolari Vanilla again because I wanted a good gourmand vanilla. That's what I was kind of thirsting for. I wanted a good gourmand vanilla, something sweet. And I was debating getting Mazzolari Vanilla again, which would have been safe because I've had it before. The only reason I let that one go is because my bottle was faulty and it was leaking and it was going to go stale. And so I just had to get rid of the bottle. You know, I kind of wish I just would have gone with Mazzolari Vanilla because that one I knew worked for me and it was so close to this one. But that difference of that coumarin in here is what makes all the difference for me. So yeah, this one is just, I can't promise that I'm going to keep it. I probably won't because I only want to keep perfumes in my collection that are a 10 out of 10 love for me. So this one probably will not be staying. I'm kind of sad about it, but at the same time, I'm not because I have to be true to myself. And as much as I want to keep it just for the bottle, I know that that powderiness in here, that powdery almond thing that I pick up on, as well as a slight shredded coconut touch, I know it's going to keep bothering me. And eventually I'm going to kick it out. So that's just the trajectory that I can see it going. It's a beautiful bottle. I'm happy to have had the chance to try it. I'm happy to have been able to review it for you guys. Yeah, hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. Hopefully if you have the same taste as me, or if you've tried some of these other perfumes I've mentioned, this will help you make your decision. For me, ultimately, like I say, it gets a 10 out of 10 in every category: longevity, sillage, performance, presentation, even the scent composition. It gets a 10 out of 10. It's just subjectively for me, the one thing that breaks it is that powderiness that I just don't care for. And to clarify, you guys, the powderiness is like a powdered, it's like a powdered, thick food, almondy type of thing, not a powdery lipstick. It doesn't go iris, it doesn't go makeup. If it did that, I think I would actually like it better. So it's not a lipstick powdery, it's not a makeup compact powder, it's not a Chanel 19 Poudre powder, it's not like that. It is a almondy, thick, heavy tonka bean powder. That's the difference. That's what I'm getting. And that is the only thing keeping me from being pretty much head over heels with this scent and being super happy to have it. So yeah, like I say, I'm not interested in holding on to perfumes that I have to look for some sort of bias, or I have to constantly be looking for some sort of confirmation, or keep on bringing it up to my nose and asking myself, ooh, do I love it yet? Do I love it yet? Like if I have to do that, then it's a no. So that for me is Bianco Latte from Giardino di Toscana. I would love to try more from this house because I think that the bottles are amazing and the fragrance is actually very, very high quality. And those are my thoughts on this fragrance for today. So that was it for today's perfume review, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed hearing my thoughts on this fragrance. If you've tried this fragrance yourself, please leave your thoughts down below. I'm really interested to hear what you think. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in my next one. Bye for now.